Hey, Romamnesia here, back at you with another culture video. And by culture video, I just mean art video. And today we're going to be talking about the art form of video games, but more specifically, Pokemon Go and the current state of Pokemon Go. Now, this is a video that I could rant about for a fucking long time. Let's hope it doesn't get that long. But my god, I might make a follow up to this eventually. Because holy crap, Pokemon Go. Alright, I just took a drink. Let's get into it. So, Pokemon Go is one of the games that I've probably put the most amount of time of out of current games that I play. Now, one of the things you should know about me and playing games, I don't consider myself great at a lot of games. I mean, I think I'm above average at most games just because I've been playing for the overwhelming majority of my life, but I don't consider myself great at a lot of games. There are a few games, however, that I have spent hundreds, if not even thousands, believe it or not, of hours in, and I consider myself to be fucking great at. To be way above the average, to be way above even good players. And Pokemon Go was one of them. I am in the 30s in my level, and for anyone who knows Pokemon Go, anyone who plays Pokemon Go, they know that the max level is 40. Being in your 30s is actually very close to max level and very hard to get to. I have many maxed out Pokemon, many Pokemon with diverse move sets. I mean, I can pretty much solo just about every gym, and I'm very upset with the current state of Pokemon Go. Do I think it can be saved? Yes, I honestly do. But I don't think it will. Let's get into it. I have 2 points ready for you today, but I could rant about each of them for about 30 minutes. So, be getting a full video, I promise you. The first point is that Pokemon Go has no guaranteed spawn location. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what the fuck does that even mean? Right? Sure. This is what it means. And I replayed Pokemon Red recently. Me and my girlfriend did. She played Blue. And she's nowhere near as familiar with the Pokemon universe as I am. And one of the things I love about Pokemon Red, or just all the Pokemon games, is you can complete certain quests, certain tasks, and get rare Pokemon. You know, you beat the little fighting gym, you get Hitmonlee or Hitmonchan. You save the Sylph Company, you get Lapras. I guess spoilers for anyone who fucking cares about that in Pokemon Red, but Red and Blue. But the point is that these super fucking rare Pokemon, you do certain things and you get. Enter Pokemon Go, where if you want a Lapras, you better fucking hope that a 10k egg that is rare enough by itself gives you a Lapras. And it has no guarantee to. It has no guarantee to ever give you a Lapras. Now here's kind of the problem with that. I have probably spent hundreds of dollars on incubators by myself. Hatched many 10k eggs, many 5k eggs, many 2k eggs. Never once gotten a Lapras. Never once gotten a Hitmonlee. I've gotten a Hitmonchan, gotten a few Hitmonchans actually. Never once gotten a Hitmonlee, never once gotten a Lapras. And believe it or not, never once gotten a Coughing, because I don't have a Battle of the Best of them Coughing, and I don't have a Wheezing in my Pokedex because of this. Now, that is shitty. I am a big fan of, in the Pokemon games, that most Pokemon are somewhat guaranteed to you, even if you have to do challenging things to get them. And I don't think Pokemon Go should be an exception. And yes, some people who are familiar with the game might say, well, what about nests? And yes, nests are great. But I don't know how your city is, but my city's nests are like Bellsprout and Nidoran. Occasionally we'll get like a Seal or a Magnemite or even a starter nest that's actually really cool. But in general, we tend to get Bellsprout, Nidoran, Oddish, Paris. You know, it's like, what? Like, I can honestly just sit at a Pokestop and get these Pokemon. Like, I could walk downtown in my city and get these Pokemon, no problem. Like, why is there not anything that I can see that, I mean, I've researched it quite a bit. Nowhere in my town, nowhere in my city, nowhere It seems in my whole goddamn state, can you go and get a fucking Hitmonlee or a Lapras? Now, yet again, I understand, well, maybe that might make the game unbalanced. Oh, Lord, we are in it now, boys, because I am about to shit all over that. This brings me to my second point. The tier list seems to be king in Pokemon Go. So if we want to talk about balance for a second, let's talk about the fact that you will never see, I mean, I'm not going to say never because you'll obviously see them. Hell, I try to make it a habit to put them in gyms, but you will never see a Pokemon outside of like the top 6 in a fucking gym. I have seen entire gyms before filled with Snorlax. And some of the best Pokemon in the game are not nearly as rare as they should be. Hitmonlee isn't even a fucking in the top 10, in the top 20 best Pokemon in the game. I can't seem to find him. But my god, do I have some maxed out Dragonites and fucking maxed out Gyarados. And, you know, that's all that I'll ever fucking need. And, you know, it brings me back to the core games, which, yes, I will eventually do a current state of Pokemon. And it'll probably be a lot more, you know, a lot more promising, a lot more just enthusiastic. Because I think Pokemon is going in a very good direction, whereas Pokemon Go is going in a very bad direction. And I'm going to briefly touch up on Gen 2, because that just came out, and I was actually planning on doing this episode before Gen 2 came out. So I'm going to briefly touch up on that. It's not in my notes, but I'm going to touch up on it. But in the Pokemon games, take any game. I'll take Red, for example. But you could take any game. You could take Gold, you could take Ruby, Diamond, X, you know, Sun, Black. It doesn't matter. Any Pokemon game, you could take any team and beat the entire game with. And that is great. That is fan-fucking-tastic. In any game, pretty much ever, any competitive game ever, you can take low-tier characters. Hell, I used to make a habit out of it in fighting games to take, you know, shit-tier characters and just destroy people online with them. And they would be so mad. They would be so mad. I remember Mortal Kombat 9, I used to take Baraka, Shiva, Striker, and just wreck people with them. They wouldn't know what to do, because no one ever played them. And I did, and I got really good with them. And, however, Pokemon Go claims to be a competitive game. Niantic has said that they want Pokemon Go to have the lifespan of World of Warcraft. However, you could be level 20. You could be level 15 and probably be able to compete if you have a Snorlax or Dragonite or Gyarados. And that's fucking bullshit. That is fucking bullshit. You should not be able to compete with some of my Pokemon. Of course my Dragonite's gonna beat you, but you should not be able to be half my level and compete with my Pokemon just because of how wonky the fucking tier system is. And of course, I know what some defenders are gonna say. Well, hey, let's look at Pokemon. Of course a Beedrill's never going to go toe-to-toe with a Dragonite at its same level, right? Power-wise, no. Stat-wise, no. But guess what? There's enough moves, there's enough strategy in the actual Pokemon games to make a moveset that makes up for that. For example, in Red and Blue, granted, I think this move is a little broken in Red and Blue, but I have a Scyther as a part of my main team. Scyther's not really that good, but guess what? With Double Team, no one can hit him. I'll use Double Team 2 or 3 times, no one can hit him. I can mop the floor with the Elite Four with him every time, because no one can hit him. And that's great. That's great that it allows Pokemon that aren't going to be able to go toe-to-toe up against other Pokemon because of movesets, because of strategies. Yet again, Generation 1 was really bad about some moves just being absolutely broken, but I'm sure Double Team is still really good in Gen 7. Or, you know, I'm sure it is. I'm sure you could still use it and it be effective as a way to have certain Pokemon, you know, strategically beat other Pokemon. And that's the thing. If I wanted to have a team in red or blue of Raticate, Pidgeot, Butterfree, Beedrill, and let's say Goldbat, and I'm trying to think of a really just meh Pokemon. We'll say Nidoqueen, but I think Nidoqueen's stats are at least pretty good. But we'll say Nidoqueen. Hell, we'll throw. I think no. You know who we're gonna say? We're gonna say Persian. So fuck Nidoqueen, Persian. I could have those 6 Pokemon and play through the game, beat the fucking game, no problem. Just fucking like that's the end of it. I could beat the game, no problem. That's not the case in Pokemon Go. Those 6 Pokemon are shit in Pokemon Go. I am not going to take any gems with them. I am not going to hold any gems with them. And that is a fucking problem to me. No, you cannot claim to be a competitive game if I cannot use whoever I want in the roster and be good. Or at least be able to compete. You know, the thing about tier lists, and every game's going to suffer from a tier list, even the most balanced game in the world. Yet again, I mentioned Mortal Kombat 9 earlier. I think Mortal Kombat 9 is one of the most balanced fighting games in the world, in my opinion. And of course there was still a tier list, because certain characters are just going to have mechanics that are a little easier to pick up than others, and a little easier to abuse than others. But guess what? Yet again, as I said, I was able to take out some of the top tier people online with Baraka, because I learned how to play them. That shit doesn't happen in Pokemon Go. And let's talk about Gen 2. So Gen 2 has been packaged as this great thing, and I've actually been playing a lot more than I ever have. Well, no, I'm sorry, ever have in the past 2 months because of Gen 2, but it's still suffering from the exact same fucking things. There are going to be Pokemon in Gen 2 that I will probably never run into. And I'm not just talking about region-locked Pokemon. There will probably be Pokemon I will never run into because of just how fucking god-awfully rare they are, and how they'll never hatch in one of my eggs. And, of course, Gen 2 is probably only going to add about 5 new Pokemon to the roster of about 10 to, 6 to 10 that we see in the current gyms. And then if you're outside of that top 10, top 15, you're just never going to be used. Never going to be used to hold down a gym, never going to be used to... And that sucks, because when I first started playing the game, one of the reasons I thought that it was going to be one of the, best games ever, and I was going to play it till the end of time, was because the gym system I thought could really be strategic. I thought you could put down a ground, a fighting, a fire, a grass, a water, a psychic, and really have a diverse team that makes up for each other's strengths and weaknesses that's really going to be hard to take down. Then you look at the fact that there's barely any good ground Pokemon. I mean, there's fucking Rhydon now, but now, what's Rhydon's counter? Fucking, and that god, the evolutions. The fucking evolutions. Vaporeon is Rhydon's counter, and Vaporeon is easy as fuck to get. And a fucking god tier. Like Vaporeon, I don't know if Vaporeon's been nerfed lately. Like I said, I've been kind of out of it for about 2 months, but getting back into it, and I got back into it a little bit before Gen 2, getting back into it, I've noticed, Vaporeon still seems to be a fucking monster. And that's one of the easiest Pokemon to get. That's one of the fucking easiest Pokemon to get. And now Jolteon got a huge buff, which I'm not, arguing against. But it's sad to me that you could have a full team of Evolutions, probably especially now with Espeon and Umbreon, and you'll be fine. Honestly, you have 5 Pokemon, and they're all from the same base form, and you'll probably be able to take down some of my, some gyms that I'm a part of, if not all gyms that I'm a part of, even at probably half my level. And that's really, really fucking sad to me. I'm okay with viewing Pokemon as a little collector game, but it's definitely not the competitive game that I was hoping it would be, and it's definitely not the competitive game right now that Niantic says that it is. I'm hoping they fix some of these problems. I'm not the only one that's been critical of some of these problems. I'm hoping they fix them. But regardless, as of now, I'm going to quit talking about it. I've been rambling. So make sure to check out the description. There's gonna be something crazy in there, just something great. Uh, and like it, subscribe, share with people, please, 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 share with people. And like always, have a great day.